Hey guys, I did said that I wasn't going to do video every day, but then I just read and or passed through 4 small books really quickly, and I thought if I'm gonna save this up for tomorrow or Monday, it's gonna become way too many books, and we want to do quick updates. That's what we want to do. So, as you've seen from the title, this is another update on the things that I've been reading in Nonfiction November. The first three did not appear on my TBR, my crazy TBR that I did, because these three were acquired after that. On my library, there is a cart of books that people can't take home because they either already have them, they don't need them anymore, they don't have space for them, so they put it there so people can take it if they feel so inclined. And these are some of the books that I brought home after this. There is more. At least two more that I can remember. But anyway, the first one is a little thing that is not supposed to be read as I did, but I wanted to see things a little bit. I wanted to, so I did. And it is a practical guide to differentiate trees and to find out what trees are what. This is in Portuguese. It is by Platinum Publisher, and it is by Pamela Foray. Yes, Pamela Foray. So this should have an English version somewhere, and it is really simple. You have this. You have the name and information about the trade, the simple information, the silhouette, the flower, leaf, and fruit if they have it, and then you have a description of the fruit and leaves a little bit. Well, you have the image, but you have then a description of how it looks, a description of the tree, another tree that you can easily mistake this tree to, so it's like no, I passed. This is not what this. This is the place where you can find it in Europe, and yeah, where you can find it basically. And this part here is the one that I was saying, the what kind of tree you may mistake this tree for, and then they have the page, so you go through, and then you have the very bottom where they should be flowering or bearing fruit. So just a very simple guide that I really wanted something like this for the longest time. I still quite want one more specific for flowers, but it will appear eventually. I have already a book that has some flowers, but you guys know what I mean. So in between this one and the other one, because it's herbs, I should have almost like most of the flowers that I am expected to find in the wild. The ones that I'm missing is mostly the potted ones. So yeah, useful thing. I have nothing. I have nothing to actually tell you about. The other two that I have here are two books in Portuguese, and I have talked about this. There's a book I already read from this foundation. It's Foundation Francisco Manuel dos Santos, and they do little booklets of essays of several themes that concern the Portuguese population. And these two, one of them I really enjoyed, and I'm gonna keep the other one. I really enjoyed some parts, but I hated the way it was written because it was just hard to read, sometimes offensive to people on the story, because why? Anyway, the first one, the one that I didn't like as much, was by Ana Cristina Leonardo, and it's called Culatra. It's the name of an island on the very bottom of Portugal. It's a fishing island. It was used by it was used by wasn't used by on the times of the plague. There was several people that were basically just staying there because of the plague, like just stay here and don't, kind of quarantine there, but yeah, not exactly. And I really enjoy the cover. They usually, when they have these photographic covers that wrap around, they do give us a little postal with the picture. Really enjoyed it. Really hated the writing. I was I'm being very critical of what I save, because you guys know that I only have these two bookshelves and they are overflowing with books. This is a really slim volume. It's a tiny itty bitty thing, and I was tempted to stay with it, to keep it, because of the parts concerning past events with people coming there because of the plague, staying there because of the plague, and some historical names that were talked about. But I really did not like the way this was written, so there's bound to be another book that is just about the Black Plague in Portugal, and it's about to have even more information probably about this than this one has. If not, I will procure this book at another time, but at this moment I think this is one that I'm gonna probably let go. And the other one that from the same foundation that I actually like, it's called In the Urgency. It's by Joana Bernard da Costa. Also has one of those wraparound covers. There are some kids having a little session on emergencies with the dolls, probably explaining to the kids things about doctors and stuff. Also a cute picture. Now, this was about Portuguese hospitals, especially the urgency, or the urgency treatments. Urgency treatments. That doesn't sound right. The urgency on hospitals in Portugal, but this was from 2014. It was bad then. There was a crisis, and it was actually really bad the times that you have to spend on the hospital. You could lose a day just to take care of something that should be taken care in half an hour sometimes. This concerns one of them. I think it's the major hospital, at least in the capital, if not in the country, called Santa Maria. That it's a university hospital and it's huge. And I liked it because it was so true. Before all of the plague came, I had to go myself to the urgencies. I had to go with people there, and it was awful. It was an awful experience, not just because you are sick. The rest of the system here, everything that's to do with health in Portugal is awful. It's really bad. So yeah, if it was already a bad experience because you were sick or a loved one was sick, it was even worse because everything was really bad. I'm not sure about this hospital. The people that they talked about, the doctors and the nurses, were actually pretty they felt pretty nice people. They felt like they treat you like human beings. That this was not my hospital before, and it's not my hospital now. The one that I actually went more, it was also kind of a big, it was not as big, but it probably served a bigger area, if that makes sense. So the building was not as big as this one. And it was awful. Awful. Sometimes you weren't even treated as a human being. That's how bad it was. Anyway, this talked about again, really small book, talked about all of the experience to go to the urgency, and I'm actually keeping this more for the fact that we thought that this was bad. then the plague came, and it's much worse now, even now that we kinda past the worst of it. Let's hope, hit on wood, because lots of people that didn't have the plague were left behind. Me myself, I'm waiting on some things that have to do concern with the hospital, and I shall be waiting, and I think it's gonna be a thing that's gonna take its time. So yeah. And during the plague, dear Lord, you I know this is really bad, and I know that everyone that works in hospitals were doing their best and it was not their fault, but you just couldn't die of the plague. You could die of everything else. Just putting it out there. Anyway, this is gonna be one of those videos that people either gonna love or hate. But it is the truth here. I am so sorry. Again, I'm keeping this one because it felt so true what was here, what people said here, and the experiences. It's actually, instead of being really analytic, it does gives you the numbers and all of that, but instead of just being that, they give you some examples of cases, things that happens, cases that the people that work on the urgencies have to deal with, and it's actually really, I don't even know the best word to describe it. It's just real. It is a real thing. So yeah, this is totally a keep. And now I have the first DNF of oh, sorry by that noise. It is the first DNF of Nonfiction November, because I just couldn't. And you saw that one. This is Cobbled Streets and Penny Sweets, Happy Times and Hardship in Post-War Britain by Yvonne Young. This one that I was hoping to love. I deeply love the cover. The photo is just adorable. And this is a memoir of a girl, now woman, that grew up after the Second World War in Britain. This is her experience and her tales, but I was so bored that I had to be DNF'd. I am so sorry. I don't know why, but I feel like I need to apologize. It's not that... How do I say? I feel that the problem is that this is not told in the best manner. Instead of having things being a bit grouped, like... how to say? Instead of like grouping per theme, like education, playing, or life for what she saw the life was for the man and the woman, like mother and father, it felt a little bit scattered. You had little snippets of this, and then this happened, and then this thing happened, and then there's this another little thing, and this was just... You could go through a page and she talked about like 5 or 6 very distinct things that had no connection to each other, and they are all in one page. It feels a little bit scattered. It's all over the place for me. And I think it loses its impact because instead of having like things a little bit more grouped to pass the point of how for example, you didn't have the same things that you have now, and the kids don't have the same toys, or if they have any toys, how do they play, and the difference that it is from today. Instead of that, you have like, instead of having all of those snippets together, you have one of that, one about the mother cleaning, one about the father bringing in something home, one about the neighbor, then back to the kids playing, then again off to the streets and the Canary Girls and all of that. It's just, I couldn't continue, so I just DNF'd it. Probably this type of scattered narrative is enjoyable for someone. If you like this theme, I would say, I cannot say that this was bad. That's the problem. I think it's just not working out for me. So it's still a thing that I think you should, a book that you probably think, oh, that this phrase is not wanting to come out. This is still a book that I think you should consider if you like the theme, and if you like memoirs, and if you like post World War II memoirs, especially especially from the point of view of a child. Now, what was I gonna add about this? I had something else. Jesus, it just slipped my mind. Anyway, oh, okay, I found out the title. For some reason, every time I try to find this book on Goodreads, it came out a book first that had the title inverted. Instead of being cobbled streets and penny streets, was penny streets and cobbled streets. I was just like, was this on purpose? What happened here? If anyone knows why there's two books that are exactly about the same theme, is that exactly by two, both of them are by two ladies writing what it was like to grow up in post-war Britain, please let me know. What, what's about that? Maybe it was on purpose, like one writing into the fame of the other one. Anyway, I don't know. If you know, if you have any idea, let me know. And yeah, just four little books. I mean, technically three because one was DNF. There were, yeah, I talked already enough for a video, so I did good to just record this before I added any more to this pile. So I see you maybe in 1 day or two, because now I don't know. I just keep having things to tell you. Anyway, this is all for now, guys. Bye.